Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Glacial Geek Kill Team Battle Report. I am Phil, the Glacial Geek, coming to you here from Savannah Lion Games in Pooler, Georgia, where I'll be fighting a kill team battle between my Genestealer Cult and Joey's Eldar. So the story that we've got going on here today is that this is an Eldar planet that seemed to be in peace, but they felt a shadow in the warp approaching their sector and realized that a Tyranid Hive Fleet was on its way, closing in. So they started to establish defenses to protect the planet against the arriving against the arriving Tyranid horde that was going to descend upon them. But as they started to set up their defenses, they suddenly found themselves under assault from below, from within, as a Genestealer Cult uprising suddenly was occurring on their planet, and they were fighting on two fronts to prepare for the arriving Hive Fleet, and also to prepare and set up a defense against the uprising cult. So that is the story that we've got going on here. We are going to be playing the Gather Intelligence mission. So there are 5 objectives on the table here, and these are going to be worth 1 point at the end of each battle round to the ones that are closest to your deployment zone. So these 2 would be worth 1 point for me, and these 2 would be worth 1 point for my opponent, and they are going to be 3 points if you hold the middle one, and 2 points if you hold the ones furthest from your deployment zone. This is at the end of each battle round, and it just becomes cumulative from there. So basically, the Eldar are trying to figure out what's going on. They're gathering intelligence on the cult to find out what they have to do to protect against them, and the cult are trying to gather intelligence about their strength and positions. So that's what we are going with. So that is the mission. That is the story. Before we go any further, though, let's show you the 2 kill teams that are going to be fighting it out. So for the Genestealer Cult, my kill team will consist of my leader being an Acolyte hybrid leader. I then have a Metamorph hybrid leader who will have the Metamorph Claw and Metamorph Talon. I then have a Neophyte Gunner who will be with a Heavy Stubber, who will be my Heavy Specialist. I have a Pure Strain Genestealer who will be my Zealot Specialist. My Metamorph is going to be my Combat Specialist. I then have a Acolyte Fighter with a Heavy Rock Saw. I have a regular Acolyte hybrid. I then have two Aberrants with Power Picks, and I have a Neophyte hybrid with a Shotgun and a Colt Icon. And for the Eldar, his kill team will consist of a Ranger who will be his leader. He then has another Ranger who will be his Sniper Specialist. We have a Dire Avenger Exarch who will have a Dire Sword and a Pistol who will be his Combat Specialist. We then have another Dire Avenger who will be his Comm Specialist. We then have 6 Guardians and a Eldar heavy weapons platform with an Eldar missile launcher. All right, so those are the two kill teams that are going to be fighting out today. Going over deployment, I have my Acolyte hybrid leader back over here. I've got my Pure Strain right there. I've got my regular Acolyte hybrid there. I've got my Metamorph leader up in front there. I've got the 2 Aberrants there. I've got the Icon Bearer there. I've got my Acolyte Fighter with the Heavy Rock Saw over here, and I've got my my Neophyte hybrid Gunner with the Heavy Stubber back over here. Going over deployment for the Eldar, he's got his weapons platform in the back here, along with one of the Guardians. We've got another Guardian up here, another Guardian there, another Guardian there. We've got his Exarch, his Dire Avenger Exarch in the front there. We've got his Ranger leader in the back behind this piece of terrain here. We've got his Exarch, not his Exarch, his Dire Avenger Comm Specialist back over here. We then have two more Guardians back over here, and we have his Snipering Specialist back up on top of the crate over here. So that is deployment. So now we are going to roll to see who will have the initiative on turn 1. All right, so I get 7, my opponent gets 6, so I will have initiative. So now we roll to see about my Cult Ambush. So everyone in my army has Cult Ambush except for the Pure Strain, because Cult Ambush is an ability that's on each of the data sheets, except for the Pure Strain, because he's just taken as a regular Tyranid, and you just swap out the faction keyword for Genestealer Cult, so they doesn't get access to it, which is a little frustrating, but it's okay. You do what you got to do. So we're going to start over here on a 5-up. He will get to do his move. The leader will not. Going to go up there to my Metamorph leader. He will not. Onto my Aberrant in the front. He will not. Aberrant in the back. He will. Then my Rocksaw dude bro. He will not. Into my Neophyte. He will not. Neophyte Gunner. He will not. And my Acolyte right back over here. He will also not. So I just have the one guy who will get it, so I'll move him, and then we will come back to you after movement phase for the Genestealer Cult here on turn 1. All right, movement phase for the Genestealer Cult here on turn 1. My leader advanced over here, getting within range of the objective. My Metamorph hybrid moved over, advanced over here. My Pure Strain advanced up over there. I was looking for higher advance. I didn't get what I needed. We'll come back to him. He advanced up over here. My Neophyte with the icon advanced up there. My Acolyte with the Rocksaw advanced up over there. My Heavy Stubborn Dude Bro moved over there. And now we're going to have some charges. So we're going to start with my Aberrant in the front here. He's going to charge into these two guys over here. So we're going to start with the Guardian over there is going to be firing here. Hitting on 5s, right? They're Overwatch?
The blue guy.
Just the blue guy has on 5s. Okay, so here we go. 6s for the Guardian. Nope, no hits there. And then a Plasma Grenade from the Exarch here. So on a 6.
D6 shots.
Oh, D6 shots, sorry. So it's going to be 3 shots. Looking for 5s. Getting 2 hits. Strength 4. So looking for a 4 to wound. No wounds there. So his charge distance is totally in. All right, so that's where he ended up over there. And now my other Aberrant is going to charge into both of them as well. He is going to fire, the Guardian is going to fire Overwatch looking for 6s. Not getting anything there. So now my charge distance looking for a 9-inch charge. No, not making it. I'm going to spend a command point to re-roll it. I wish I could just roll this one, but it's to get to re-roll charge rolls. So I have to re-roll both of them looking for a 9-inch charge. 5 and a 3. Oh! Ow! So close. All right, movement phase for the Eldar here on turn 1. These two Guardians moved over here. This Guardian and the weapons platform moved up over here. These two, the one who is the sniper specialist just readied himself, but the leader moved up over there. The Exarch down, or the guy Dire Avenger down here readied himself. The Guardian in front here readied himself. He's in is in combat because he had to these, and these two guys advanced over here. So that is going to be it for the movement phase. We will come back to you with the shooting phase. All right, so first in the shooting phase, his readied sniper is going to fire into my Acolyte hybrid over here, or my Neophyte hybrid with the icon over here. So he is looking for a 3 to hit. No hit there. Now the Guardian here will fire into my Neophyte hybrid over there. 2 shots, hitting on 3s, that's 2 hits. Strength 4, so looking for 3s to wound. Getting 2 wounds. The 6 was a rend, so that's AP minus 3, so that's just going to go through, so there's nothing I could do about that one. So we've got the injury roll here. 4, he is out of action. All right, so now his Dire Avenger back over here, ready. Dire Avenger is going to fire into my Acolyte hybrid. He's obscured, so I'm going to get he's going to be -1 to hit, but he's within half range, so don't have to worry about that. So it's going to be 2 shots here, hitting on 4s, getting 1 hit. Strength 4, so looking for a 3 to wound. No wound. It's going to spend a command point to re-roll that into a wound over here. So I've got a and it rends, so that's just going to be straight through. So now the injury roll onto him. He is out of combat. All right, so now my my Neophyte Heavy Stubber guy is going to fire his weapons over here. He's in half range, so he doesn't have to worry about the -1. They're not obscured, and he's got the Heavy Specialist, so he doesn't have to. He doesn't isn't encumbered by the moving with a heavy weapon. So he's going to fire 2 shots into his weapons platform and 1 shot into his Guardian. So we're going to do the 2 shots into the weapons platform here. So that's 2 shots hitting on 4s. That is 1 hit and 1 cocked. So that's going to be 1 hit. Strength 4, toughness 4.
T3.
T3. So looking for a 3 to wound. That is a wound.
3 up armor.
3 up armor save. Oh, he's good. And then the one shot into the Guardian over there, hitting on a 4. That is a hit with a fill first. Now wounding on a 3. No wound. I'm going to spend a command point to reroll that. No! Ah! All right, so now this Guardian is going to fire the weapons platform into my Aberrant over here. So he did move, so he's heavy, so he's going to be -1 to hit because of that. He's obscured, so he's -1 to hit because of that. But he's in half range, so no minus to hit there. And the comms is going to give him +1 to hit. So he's going to be hitting on 4. So he's got D6 shots. All right, 6 shots, pretty good. These are now going to be hitting on 4s. Getting 1 hit, strength 4, so looking for a 4 to wound. No wound. All right, so now his leader is going to fire his sniper rifle into my Aberrant, so he is going to be hitting on a 5 because it's -1 to hit because of obscured, -1 to hit because of moving, doesn't make a difference, doesn't hit. So now the Guardian back over here is going to fire into my Aberrant. He's going to have 2 shots. He's not at half range, so he's -1 for that. -1 because of obscured. They advance, but they don't care about that, so it's going to be looking for 5s to hit. No hits. And now the other Guardian is going to shoot the Aberrant, again, looking for 5s. No hit. All right, so now one of these Guardians is going to fire into my Aberrant over here. Again, hitting on 5s because of obscured and range. No hit. And the other one's going to do the same exact thing. Getting 1 hit this time. Wound, strength 4, so looking for a 4 to wound. No wound. All right, so now my Aberrant over here is going to start us off in the fight phase because of his charging into the Exarch there. I've got 2 attacks. These are going to be hitting on 3s. All right, I'm going to spend a command point to re-roll this. All right, so that's 2 hits. These are now going to be strength user, so strength 4, so looking for 3s to wound. Getting 2 wounds with fill faces. These are AP -2, but he's got a 4-up invul save, so because he's the Exarch. So 2 4-up invul saves. Making 1, failing 1. He's going to spend a command point to re-roll that. Oh, and he's good. All right, because he's the combat specialist, he'll attack back with 3 attacks here, hitting on 3s. Getting 2 hits, strength 3, so looking for 5s to wound. Getting 1 wound.
Causes a mortal.
That causes a mortal wound. And it's AP -2, so looking for a, nope, that's just going to go straight through, AP -2. So, getting, looking for a injury test, because that's going to be 2 wounds on him since it did the mortal. On a 2, he takes a flesh wound. All right, so that's the end of the turn here. I do have, in the morale phase, I do have to take a nerve test over here, because he has a flesh wound, and I have 2 guys out of action there, so 2 plus... 2 is good. He's good with a 4. He's got a leadership of 7. So at the end of the turn, I score 3 points for holding the center objective, 5 points for objectives. My opponent scores 2 objectives over there. So it's going to be 5 to 2 after turn 1. So now we roll to see who will have initiative on the on turn 2. I get a 7. He gets a 6. So we'll come back to you after movement phase for the Genestealer Cult. All right, movement phase. My pure strain advanced over here. My leader moved over there, just like flattening himself against the building over here. He is going to ready himself, and then into the charges, he is going to charge into the front Guardian over there. So the Guardian's Overwatch on a 6. That is cocked. That is a hit. So this is going to be wounding on a strength 4. Yep. So 3 to wound. No wound there. So here comes the charge distance. Not going to make it. I'm going to spend a command point to re-roll that. That will make it. All right, so now my metamorph here is going to charge into both of those Guardians. So here comes the Overwatch, looking for 6s. Not getting anything, so I need an 8-inch charge to make it in there. Not making it. And now my Aberrant's going to charge into the Guardian and the Exarch over here. So 2 shots from the Guardian. No hits there. His charge distance is 4 inches is in. All right, movement phase for the Eldar here on turn 2. His guy over here advanced. This is Guardian advanced. This Guardian advanced. This Guardian advanced. This Guardian is locked in combat. This Guardian and Exarch are locked in combat. This Dire Avenger advanced over this way. And these 4 guys up on here all readied themselves. So that's it for the movement phase. At the end of the movement phase, I would usually be starting up the shooting phase, but my opponent's going to spend 2 command points for decisive shot to allow him to start shooting first. So we'll come back to you with that. All right, so he's going to start off with his Guardian here. Is going to fire into my heavy bolter guy here. So it's going to be 2 shots. He's in half range, right? Yep. You got in half range, but it's going to be -1 for obscured here. So it's going to be 2 shots looking for 4s to hit. Getting 2 hits. Strength 4, so looking for 3s to wound. Getting the 6, so that's just going to go straight through. So looking for the 1 injury roll as I flesh wound. All right, so now at the beginning here, my guy who is readied over here will start us off with shooting into the Guardian in the middle there. So I'm going to put all 3 shots into him. He's at -1 to hit because of the flesh wound that he has now, and he's -1 to hit because of being obscured there. So this is going to be 2 shots, 3 shots hitting on 6s. Getting 2 hits with fill faces. I'll take that. Strength 4, looking for 3s to wound. That is 2 wounds. AP minus nothing, so 2 5-up saves. Makes 1, fails 1, so looking for a 4-up on the injury roll. It's a fill face, he's gone. Woo! All right, so now his ready guys are going to start us off here with his sniper firing into my my gunner guy back there. So he's going to have 1 shot hitting on a 3. That's a hit. Wounding on a 3. That is a wound with a 6. Does a mortal wound. 1 second. Well, 1 second. All right, so regardless of the save, I still have the injury roll there because of the mortal wound. So we're just going to go straight into that one. So here we go. Mortal wound +1 to this roll because of that. Oh, yeah, he is 7. He's out. All right, so now the Guardian is going to fire the weapons platform into my metamorph over here. So he is going to have D6 shots, 5 shots. These are now going to be -1 to hit because of being obscured, +1 to hit because the comms guy gave him the communist. So here we go. 5 shots hitting on 3s. Okay, not great there. So it's 1 hit again. Strength 4, so looking for a 3 to wound. No wound there. All right, so now my Acolyte leader here is going to fire into his Guardian over there with his las pistol. So 1 shot hitting on a 4. That is not a hit. And now the Dire Avenger is going to fire into my Metamorph over here. So 2 shots obscured, so hitting on 4s. Getting 1 hit. Strength 4, right? So wounding on a 3. No wound. And now his Guardian will shoot into my Acolyte leader over here. 2 shots hitting on 3s. That is 2 hits. Strength 4, so looking for 3s to wound. Getting 1 wound. 1 5-up save. Yeah, he's good. Woo! All right, so now into the fight phase. My Aberrant who charged is going to put his attacks into the Exarch over there. So I'm going to have 2 attacks here. These are going to be hitting on 3s. Oh, I'm going to spend a command point to reroll one of those. All right, so that's a hit. Wounding on a 3. That is a wound. 4-up invul save. No, goes through. D3 damage. 1 damage. He's down to 1 wound. All right, so now my Rocksaw guy over here is going to attack into his Guardian back there. So I've got 2 attacks. These are going to be hitting on 3s. That's 1 hit. Wounding on a 2. That is a wound. AP -4, so he is just dead. Oh, it's just dead. What? Oh man, I had regular 40K on the brain right there. So it's 2 damage. So I'm going to be rolling 2 because it's 2 damage. The weapon it does 2. What is it called? Injury rolls. Let me take the highest. So the fill face, even the 5 would have been fine, but he is out of action. All right, so that's all the chargers into the regular attacks. I'm going to start with my guy here into his Exarch. I've got 2 attacks. He's at -1 to hit because of the flesh wound. So it's going to be 2 attacks hitting on 4s. Getting 1 hit. Wounding on a 3. Whoa. Wounding on a 3. That is a wound with a fill first. So here comes his 4-up invul save. Cocked. Oh, he's good. All right, so now his Guardian is going to attack into my Aberrant over there, the one that charged into him. So it's going to be 1 attack, hitting on a 3. That is a hit. Wounding on strength 3, so looking for a 5 to wound. That is a wound. 5-up save. No, so he takes a wound. And now his 3 attacks are going to go into which one? Into the guy with the flesh wound. So 3 attacks hitting on 3s. That is 2 hits. Strength 3, so 5's to wound. No wounds. All right, so that is the end of the turn. Going into the morale phase, I do have the one guy with a flesh wound who has to take a nerve test. I have 3 guys out of action, but there is a guy within 2 inches of him, so it's going to be -1 to the result there and +3 to the result here. So on a 6, he will be nerve racked. No, he is good to go. So that is the end of the turn. At the end of the turn, I score. This one I think is contested over here. Nobody scores anything over there. Nobody scores anything over here. I score 2 points for that, and my opponent scores 1 point for this. So bringing us to 7-3 at this point. So that is the end of the turn. So now we will roll for initiative here for turn 3. I get a 4. My opponent gets 6. So we will come back to you after after movement phase for the Eldar here on turn 4. All right, movement phase for the Eldar here on turn 3. This guy readied himself. The platform and that sniper, his leader, readied themselves. He moved down there to be closer to the objective. He advanced down over this way. His sniper dude bro. His Exarch stayed in combat. This Dire Avenger moved up over this way. He moved up over this way, and he fell back over there. And that is it for the movement phase. We'll come back to the movement phase for the Genestealer Cult here on turn 3. And my opponent's going to spend a command point on feigned retreat on this guy who fell back so that he can shoot in the shooting phase. All right, moving for the Genestealer Cult. They stayed in combat, and everyone else is going to charge. So we'll start here. He's going to charge both of these guys here. So they're going to fire Overwatch. We'll start with the Guardian first. No hits there, and then the Dire Avenger. On 5s. No hits there. So I need an 8-inch charge to get into the Dire Avenger over here. And I mean, he's going to be in over there. So if it's 8 inches, he'll go into the Dire Avenger. Otherwise, he won't. All right, so you just put 3 inches, and you go right away. And now my Metamorph is going to charge into his sniper here and into his Dire Avenger over here. So we're going to do the sniper guy first on 6. That's a hit. Looking for a 3 to wound. That is a wound with a mortal wound, so he's just going to take the injury roll here. What? 3 6s in a row? Who does that? Oh, cool. Now our leader's going to charge into his Guardian over here, so his Overwatch will not hit, so his charge distance is totally in. And now my Pure Strain is going to charge into his Sniper Throw and into the Dire Avenger over here. He can't see him, but he can, so his Overwatch. No hits there. His charge distance 7 inches and blue gone. Alright, so now my opponent is going to move into the shooting phase with his Dire Avenger Exarch there. He's going to shoot into my guy with the flesh wound there. He's got a pistol, so he's going to be shooting hitting on a 3. That is a hit. Strength 4, so that is a wound with a 4. Looking for a 5 up save. Yeah, with a 5. All right, we're going to start with my leader over here attacking into his Guardian. I've got 3 attacks hitting on 3s. That's going to be 3 hits. Wounding on 3s. Getting 1 wound at AP -1, so 1 6 up. No, does not get it. So it's going to be a injury roll here. At a 1, he takes a flesh wound. And then the knife attack. That is a hit. That is a wound. No AP. That is good. All right, so now my Pure Strain is going to attack into his Ranger over there. I'm going to have 3 attacks here, hitting on 3s. That is 1 hit. Wounding on a 3. That is not a wound. I'm going to spend a command point to reroll that. That is a wound, AP -1. 6 up. No, goes through. Injury roll. He is out of action. And now my Acolyte Fighter over here is going to attack. He's got 2 attacks hitting on 3s. That is 1 hit. Wounding on a 2. Alright, so now his Exarch is going to attack into my not flesh wounded guy over there. So he's going to have 3 attacks hitting on 3s. That is going to be 2 hits. Wounding on strength 3, so 5 to wound. No wounds. All right, and then my Aberrant is going to attack into him. 2 attacks. This is the one without the flesh wound, hitting on 3s. That is no hits. And now the flesh wounded guy is going to attack in. 2 attacks on 4s, getting 1 hit, wounding on a 3. That is not a wound. We forgot that. I forgot he also gets to attack in over here. Didn't make a difference, but he's going to go in there. So he's got 1 attack hitting on a 3. That's a hit. Wounding on a 4. Strength 3, toughness 3. That is a wound. That is not a save. So, injury roll. He's out. Now this guy over here will sack into my Pure Strain who consolidated into him. That is a hit. That is a wound. That is a save. Woo! And this guy is going to hit on a 4. That is a hit. That is not a wound. All right, so that's the end of the turn. I have to roll to see if I am broken because I've lost 5 guys out of action. So I need to roll, and I've got the highest leadership is an 8 right now. Oh, no, it's a 9 with my Pure Strain. And I roll a 9. Ooh, 1 second. Let me just double check that. Yep, their leadership is 9, so he is, thankfully, he's still alive and good to go. But I do have a nerve test to take. This guy over here has a flesh wound. I've lost 5 guys, but I've got a guy within 9 inches, within 2 inches of him over there. So it's going to be +5, -1, so +4 to this roll. 1, he is good to go. So that's the end of the turn. At the end of the turn, I scored this objective here because I pushed him back over there. But he scores this one, so he scores 2, 3, so he scores 5, 6 points there. I score 1. Over here is contested, so it's just going to be 1 point for me, which leaves us at 8 to 9 with my opponent just taking the lead there. So now we will roll to see who gets the initiative going into the next round. I roll a 4, my opponent rolls an 11, so we'll come back to you with movement phase for the Eldar here on turn 4. All right, movement phase for the Eldar. He fell back out of combat with my leader. He stood still and readied himself. He readied himself. He fell back out of combat with my Pure Strain, and then he spent a command point on Feigned Retreat so that he can fire. And then his leader over there ready to so that's going to be it for the movement phase for the Eldar. We'll come back to you with the movement phase for all right, movement phase for the Genestealer Cult here. My leader moved back over here, and my Pure Strain over here fell back because he was within an inch of an enemy model at the beginning of the movement phase, so therefore he couldn't do anything, he couldn't charge anything, so he just moved back over here out of line of sight, and these 2 guys stayed in combat with him. So that is going to be it for the movement phase. We'll come back to you with the shooting phase. All right, so now the missile launcher is going to be fired by the Guardian who used Fire and Fade to fire into my leader over here, so it's going to be D6 shots. So 5 shots. These are going to be -1 because of being obscured, but not -1 because of range or anything. So it's just going to be on 4s. Getting 3 hits. These are going to be wounding on strength 4. So looking for 3s to wound. Getting 2 wounds at AP -1. So 2 6-up saves. No fill faces there. So the 1 injury roll here is out of action. All right, that's it for shooting. So into the fight phase, we're going to start with his Exarch. He has the initiative there, so these are going to be 3 attacks into the flesh wounded guy. That's 3 hits there. These are now strength strength 3, so looking for 5s to wound. 2 6s, which are rend, right?
Two mortals.
Those are 2 mortals, so it's just going to go straight through. So we've just got the 1 +1 to this roll because of his wound already. He is out of combat. All right, now my guy over there is going to attack into his Exarch. 2 attacks, hitting on 3s. That is 1 hit, wounding on a 3. That is a wound. 4-up invul save. No, goes through. He's going to spend a command point to re-roll it. No, still goes through. D3 wounds. That's going to be 3 wounds, so 3 injury rolls here. And he is out of combat there. All right, so that's the end of the turn here. My guy over here I've got 2 guys left, so let's see if I am broken. 8 is good because I've got my Pure Strain still on there. And then you have 1 nerve test to take over here. So it's just 1 die. Yep, just 1 die. 3, he's good to go because you've only lost 4 guys there. So he is good to go. So that is the end of turn 4. My opponent got 3 points here, 2 points over here, and 1 point over there, and 1 point over here. So that is going to be gives him an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. I get 0 points this turn, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to call it because I don't think I can do enough with what I've got left in the turns to go to make it a difference because my opponent is now up 16-8, double my score. So that was a ton of fun. There was some very key pivotal moments in the game, like being able to knock my Metamorph out in Overwatch. That was killer. That really knocked the wind out of that sails during that charge phase. But I mean, that's what it's all about. It's so much fun. I still have a ton of fun playing this. It's so quick and so much fun to just be able to do this and play and just have a good time. So I hope you guys have all enjoyed it. I certainly have. I have been Phil the Glacial Geek. As always, my opponent's been Joey. And until next time, have fun.